We are continuing on with our draft prospects evaluation over here on Shy Bulls podcast. Who could potentially be a Chicago Bull? And on today's episode, we land on a very interesting prospect in Cedric Coward. Hey, hidden gem for the Chicago Bulls? I don't know. But y'all know we going to talk about it and break it all down. But you know, you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Boys podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. If you're tuned in with me today, make sure you take some time out to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as we continue on these evaluations for these prospects. And I hope y'all been enjoying them so far. It seems like y'all have, but let me know down in the comment box how y'all been feeling about them. Me and C-Dub, hey, we trying to get those schedules aligned. Hey, you know your boys still got to go ahead and put that work in, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, let's talk about Cedric Coward. Me personally, I'm looking at this guy, and I turned on the clips, and I'm like, hold on. This man got some explosiveness to him. There is some concerns when it comes down to him, but y'all know we going to break it all down. So Cedric Coward, hey, he's one of those names that's rising around and moving up the charts. While the NBA draft combine did just take place and concluded, and I believe he just had another workout the other day, but this guy come in at 6'6.5" with a 7'2" wingspan out of Washington State. Now, I understand the concerns when you talk about my man Cedric Coward, simply because for Washington State, in this what was deemed his senior year, he only played 6 games. So not a good sample size in that final year before he's entering this combine. And but 33 minutes played, 17 points, 1 block, 1.7 blocks, almost a full steal. And then my man's got the clip from the 3. Shot 40% from the 3 and 55% from the field. And I know that's just a small sample size, so we got to look at what he did prior to going to Washington State. At Eastern Washington University, his junior year, 32 games played, 30 minutes per game, 15 points, got himself 0.9 blocks, 1 full steal, 38% from the 3, 56% from the field. Sophomore season, 34 games played, but only started 2, 7 points, 0.6 blocks, 0.8 steals, and 39% from the 3. But only on 1 attempt on that first year if you're going back. And you see as the years went on, those 3-point attempts have went up. So the numbers seem like they are legit when it comes to Cedric Coward. Now, I understand that this past season, what kept him out was that shoulder injury. So he only played 6 games. And he did have an offer to potentially move on to go play for Duke if he drops out of the NBA draft. If he say, I don't want to do this no more, I want to go back to school, I don't like what my stock is looking like, he can go back over there. He could play for the Duke. He can play for the Dukies. But nonetheless, he got until June 15th to withdraw from the 2025 NBA draft and officially return to school for a 5th season with the Blue Devils. Now, some of the things that I like about Cedric is really, hey, first of all, before we get into some of the things I like, look at this fella. Hey, said we look alike. I need to know. Do me and Cedric look alike? I don't know. Let me know. I don't know. But what I like about Cedric is that when you turn on the tape and you try to watch this guy, fluid and active, explosive. It's just some of the terms that I can come up when you talk about him and how he looks. Some comparisons they putting out there, I don't really look. They just comps that NBA analysts have put on this player. Talking about guys like Kawhi Leonard. Guys, we heard that before. Pump the brakes. We heard that before. I know that Chicago Bulls fans don't want to hear nobody being compared to Kawhi Leonard in the Bulls uniform, because we got a guy with braids, with a similar build, who was called the Paul. And we looked at him and was like, no. So, but that's one of the players that he's being comped to. Another player that Cedric Coward is being comped to is Dorian Finney-Smith. So those are two comps right there. One on the higher end, one on the lower end. And I would say, hey, some of those things that I like is that, number one, he comes in already as a proven shooter. You ain't got to work on that. You can go ahead and utilize his talents, and you can look at him and say, hey, you can go ahead and shoot the ball for me. I'm good with that. That means you ain't got that much work to do to make sure that he's a consistent three-point shooter for your Chicago Bulls team. Another thing that I like, this man can operate out of the post with some ferocity. I'm like, hold on. Hey, the man got some skill, and you go and you look at some of the NBA combine stuff, active, still got some nice speed, did suffer that shoulder injury like I previously mentioned, but at the same damn time, if you could bounce back from that shoulder injury, hey, that's something that this is a player that you can absolutely utilize his skill set to where he could be a guy for you. This guy's a guy that can move off ball. He can handle the ball pretty well. He can get up in there and get physical with you if he needs to. That's what I like about him. I believe he comes in with the physical presence, and I don't think that you look at a guy like Cedric Coward to go to Duke if he was a scrub. That's just my personal opinion. But if you look at some of those rebound totals, you look every single year, that was a small increase. Started at 5.6, then went to 6.7. And just those 6 games, I want to keep reminding y'all, it was just 6 games that he went up to 7 assists, but did increase that assist total in those 6 games to just about 4 per game. So he's getting a little active out there. Like I said, it's only a small sample size, but if you look at the track record, it all makes sense. He's been consistently doing these same things throughout his collegiate career, and you hope that if the Chicago Bulls take a chance on him, this player right here can bring some of those things to the Chicago Bulls. And one thing that I really, really like is the story. One thing I really, really like about Cedric Coward is the story. This man started in Division III basketball at Eastern Washington, and worked his way up to Division I basketball, went down with the 6 games, worked himself back up to where he was like, I'm going to take a chance and see what my stock is looking like in this upcoming draft, because if I got a shot, I'm gone, peace. But worked so damn hard to where Duke is an option for him if he decides to go back to college. And I want to put emphasis on if he decides to go back to college, because it's a true possibility. I don't necessarily know if that's what he's going to do, simply because you see that in certain rankings on where he was on the draft board. CBS had him listed at 43, and now he's pushed all the way up to 18. ESPN has him listed as 35, with guys rambling and pretty much, calling for his praises to move up potentially simply because of the workouts. I don't know how much you take into considering the workouts, but that is very, very impressive to talk about Cedric Coward in his rise to where he is today, to where he's actually being considered to being inserted in that first round after looking at him and people like, yeah, early second or in the middle of the second round, and moving all the way up to a potential late first round. That's hard work, and he's edging closer and closer up. If a team is willing to take a chance on him, I think you're going to get a hell of a player, me personally. I don't think you can necessarily sell any of these guys short. It's going to be how hard they are willing to work. And for me, a guy that spent all these years in college and then worked himself up, he comes in with a chip on his shoulder and is showing that he's a hard worker to eventually be a productive player in this league. I love that right there. Some of the best players that come out, they spend a couple years in college. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you get your one and done guys that come in, but those guys take a little bit longer. I believe he comes in with enough experience, maybe not the greatest since he only played 6 games his last season with Washington State, but that experience will be essential to how much further he can go up in the NBA, especially with the skill set. A guy that can shoot the 3, a guy that can space the floor, he can handle the rock, and he willing to get physical in the post. Hey, I'm liking those things. Some things that I'm a bit concerned about is the injury. Is the shoulder fine? I understand, because it was being reported that it was the AC joint and it affected the rotator cuff a little bit. It looks to be fine right now, but will it be an issue in the future? So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how the Chicago Bulls feel like he's a fit, if he is a fit for the Chicago Bulls, and they do go out on a limb and say, let me go ahead and get you. I say this, he fits the mold of what the Chicago Bulls have been drafting the last few years. Wing defender with the potential to be a 3-and-D guy. That's what they've been looking for. My question is, though, do you think that if the Chicago Bulls do take a chance on him, do you think he slides to the 3 since we've been seeing Montes Buzelis play that 4? Because that'll be a very, very interesting dynamic right there to see how he fits the team. For me, as I've been going through these guys and breaking them down and bringing to you guys and listening to C-Dub and breaking it to you guys, he's one of the more prepared prospects. I think that one of the concerns is the injury history, and you want to make sure that he's a good fit for your team. But I don't doubt the athleticism that this kid is going to come in with. I don't doubt the grit he's going to come in with, simply because how he worked his way up from Division III basketball all the way to Division I. I don't have many concerns about if he's going to be able to bring some ferocity, bring some toughness to a team. That's one thing I think that the Chicago Bulls are lacking when it comes to playing a physical style of basketball, because I keep bringing it up because I believe it stands true. The more you got to have some type of physicality on your team if you want to go out there and compete after the All-Star break and going into the playoffs. I know that it's a long season and you got to win games, but after the All-Star break, we've seen an uptick on physicality. And then once you went into the playoffs, you seen more physicality. And then last night, we just seen OKC just put the look, you can call it what it is for SGA and all them and all the foul shots. But hey, typically when you are the aggressor, typically when you're the more physical team, the whistle starts to favor you more so than the other team. So I'm just saying, it might not always be fair. Sometimes you can go ahead and have your arms up in the air. But hey, you can't deny that when those teams get physical, like an OKC, and these guys is just in the passing lanes, deflecting everything and being and pushing guys around and making it hard on the opposing defense, man, is it a sight to see? And hey, I think this is one of those guys, you know what I'm saying? I know that some people is going to look at him and say, hey, he might be on the lighter side. He might need to add some weight to it. You might want to see a little bit more on the defensive side and see how he can do things on the defensive side at the NBA level. I think that comes with just about every single player in this draft personally. But I think this is one of the better prospects for the Chicago Bulls, simply because the Bulls want to get up and down the floor. He's going to bring that athleticism. The Bulls want to shoot the 3. He's already a proven 3-point shooter, and he can attack the basket, and he can operate out of the post. You want to see if he can put it all together on the NBA level? Of course. We want to see if he can put it all together on the NBA level, of course. But this is definitely a guy, if a team is willing to take a chance on him, he could definitely do some things for your organization. I don't necessarily know if the Chicago Bulls are willing to do that, though. I'm going to keep it real with you. I don't know. But I will say, if they do it, I would not be upset. I would not be upset to select this guy. But I got to ask you guys, y'all think taking this guy with some of those injury concerns would be a bit too high at 12? Could be. But you let me know down below. Down below, hey, if you feeling like Cedric Coward would be too big of a risk, type Y in the comment box. If you say no, type in the comment box. Let me know how y'all feeling about Cedric Coward, because I think he's a hell of a prospect, but I will have some reservations if I'm considering him with that injury, you know what I'm saying, to make sure the shoulders. But the good thing is it's not lower extremity injuries, knees, ankles, things like that. So let me know how you feeling about him, because I think this guy's a hell of a prospect to evaluate and a hell of a player to look at when you just look at all the things that he could do. I think he has a number of tools that you can utilize for your team, especially with Josh Giddey and Kobe White, you know what I'm saying, primarily handling the ball. And if you get him out in the open, he going to shoot that thing. Let him shoot that thing. Let him shoot that thing. Hey, it is what it is, man. It's definitely an interesting thing. He could potentially be that hidden gem, because I think that a lot of people have not seen him. Do y'all think it'll be best if the Chicago Bulls do have him on his radar? They could potentially trade back with a team that has 2 draft picks? I'm just saying. It'd be interesting. I can't wait to see what this draft brings. We just got a couple more weeks, I believe. But they got these conference finals going on. Then we get the finals, and then we get on to the draft. It's going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. coming up these next few weeks. But I appreciate y'all, man. That is it for today's episode. I appreciate y'all. If y'all want to go ahead and do me a solid, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, man. We on that road to AK, and we are just that wait. We are very, very close on accomplishing that goal. We already know we got to keep pushing out that good content. And if you feel like that content been living up to par, hit that like button and subscribe for your bar. You know, do me a solid. But nonetheless, if you want to be a part of the mailbag episode, we had Chad call in the other day. The lines are still open for you to be a part of it. Go ahead and call the line and let us know your thoughts on anything Chicago Bulls. The number to do so is 773-242-9219. We appreciate y'all over here. Make sure y'all always see red, and y'all already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac. Gang.